Good evening. So this is kind of like an agenda video. I'll tell you what's on the plate. As you see, we are having a very quick progress in all fronts. Of course, time is of the essence. I mean, the most valuable resource is time, because there's just so much to do, and it's even much more pressing than the material issues. I mean, I'm still under arrest, and like house arrest, not exactly house arrest, but de facto I'm like confined to this room, and I don't have money, and I don't have like almost no material. But it's not even my biggest issue. My biggest issue is just that I need more time, because I'm having so much, I have so much to research. So much research to conduct, so many different fronts. So let's speak about a little bit about the front. The issue of creating life, and the political agenda of replacing defunct species. So so the 4 Glasses project was successfully completed. We have created life within the 4 glasses, like that one that we have over there, and the 3 ones. The first one is still there. I still want to conduct some research on the leftovers of the worms that were not completely created when the electricity was detached. And the second one, of course, was flushed down the toilet. And the third and the fourth, as you've seen, was they were released to the wild to live a happy life, and to maybe share the happiness with other life forms that are in the neighborhood. So of course, we're not done. We are only now, we just began. We just began, and we need to think about the next steps. As I said before, I don't have really the time in my hand right now to fully commit myself to research about the new life forms and their needs, and what makes them happy, what makes them sad, how do they multiply. These are all huge questions, but I can't commit myself to such a research, because I am more interested in the material aspects, and how to make money, how to create diamonds specifically, but other stuff as well. But I don't want to. But it's very important, of course, research. Project, and of course it's closely related to my political project, and also to my personal project. Some would even say to the legal issues that that surround me, because we all know that it's not really a democracy, and democracy, but of course the issue of species like end of life and replacement of defunct species might even in not so much, not really surprising ways, affect things like legal issues of specific representative of this or that species, and that's the reality. So so what I'm going to do now is today is not really a groundbreaking new research, but I'm going to repeat what I've already done, but now in literally a more transparent way, because the most exciting results with regards to lives were created inside the pretty big, relatively big, maybe 20 centimeters, no, it's 15 centimeters by height, and 10 by 10 by width and length, metal can of chocolates, Max Brenner chocolates. But the problem is that it's not transparent, and this we now know that it hinders the creation of life. But even more importantly, we don't get to see what's inside very clearly. So my next living environment would be something like that, perhaps even this one, but this also already contains stuff, so I might just find another one. And if I use this one, I need to research stuff. There is research going on. There is experiment that's going on there, so I'll probably use another one. But it's going to be something like that, a glass can like that, of course, without the sticker. So it will be completely transparent, and I'll put it on like a metal platform. I have a metal platform here, which will help light to enter the glass from below, because you've already said that according to my experiments it's very important. The light from we have already, I'm also making soup, but I think it's done, so let's give it a little stir. Okay, so then this one is done, and this one it's also done. There's two pots, because one is without the loction, without the, how do you say loction, like noodles, and without a lot of strong things like kamun, I don't know, how do you translate it to English? And this one is hawaj, things, all sort of spices for that my mother doesn't really like. So we are having one pot which will be for my mother and for myself, and one which will also be which will only be for me, which is more spices and more and noodles. And so this is what I'm searching for. We will use this tool as a platform for the glass container that will contain much more life than we had until now. To be something like that, probably. Yeah, it also fits very, very nicely. So yeah, something like that. We will also, of course, as we've done with the Max Brenner, the metal can, we will use electrolysis with the large new rods that I will prepare, and because it's very helpful, of course, for at least for the beginning stage of creating the life. But what we will be able to see more clearly now, which I still don't know, is how helpful it is, if at all, to the growth of the life once the water worms, the water snakes exist. Should we stop with electrolysis, or maybe they continue to get energy from it? I don't know. It's one of the big questions that are still left open, and I hope to answer this question as well. What will also be different from last time is that last time the way that I actually built the stuff, I put the material inside the can, was I just added more and more stuff along the way without so thinking about it ahead. But now it will be much more with preliminary thought, by design. So I will use this sponge, but before the sponge, we will have layers that will be, more and more thick as you go under. The first layer will be a layer of thick paint, like oil paint, mixed with liquid, which is kind of a solvent, but it will be very thick. This layer, we already know that the water snakes like it very much. They like to swim in it. They like to eat it. They also like to be created inside. So it's the best layer for them for the initial steps. The problem with that is that it's getting harder with time. After about it doesn't get dry as like other material. It's got a long drying time, which is good, but eventually it will be dry. But it's the lowest level, and I'm certain that after some time the living creatures will. We will see them go up after that. They do no longer require the the mineral rich bottom layer. So above it we will have a linseed oil layer, which is also I bought a new bottle of linseed oil 2 days ago, because if you remember the last one I had only several drops, but now I have a new bottle of linseed oil, which is very similar to paint oil. Just it will be colorless, I mean pigmentless. It's a color of oil. I mean, it's like oilish, like goldish yellow, but it's not as thick as it's also used as solvent, and it's not as thick as the oil, the paint oil, and so it will take much longer for it to dry, if at all. So this will, the creatures will be able to swim there very, very nicely, and and for a long time. Above it, we'll have another layer of antiseptic solutions, which you already know. My mixture, Polydyne, alcohol, hydrogen peroxide. This will be, they are the good thing about it. Of course, they kill germs. We don't want germs at all. We don't want bacteria. We want germs and bacteria, but of course, of the synthetic kind, like interlinked. We want interlinked bacteria and germs. Not we don't want the biological scumbags. So this layer will ensure us that no biological scumbag penetrate to the deeper layers where all life is created, and where the children worms and children water snakes are starting their lives. We don't want biological bacteria and biological scumbags to interfere. So this will be like a protective layer, and it also will be much less denser than the inner layers, which is good for because for the worms to have less dense. We want them to expose to less dense layers, so they will be able to actually acclimate to themselves to the real world environment, to Earth, to the Earth environment of Earth, because eventually of course the goal is to release them to the wild here in Earth, where they will need to compete with other, of course, biological worms and germs, and of course they have the great advantage of immunity to almost anything, specifically to all kind of anti-life solutions, which is excellent. It will give them a great edge against the biological scumbags, but we want to prepare them for it. So we want to prepare them for less dense environment, because the environment in the Earth is not as dense as liquid oil, of course. So this will be another layer. And above that it will be air, but not just air with a sponge, one of them. As you said, these kind of creatures and Neros and they don't really like the white color. They associated with death. So I bought 3 of those that, all of them are not white. I will choose one of them, maybe the green one or the blue one, probably the green one, and I'll place it inside on the top of the 3 liquid layers, and it will serve as as kind of a ecological niche, which is easy for the worms, for the snakes to get inside and to feel the ground under their little toes or their little bodies. And this will, of course, I will from time to time I will wet it. I'll keep it wet, but sprinkling perhaps alcohol, or perhaps a little bit of oil, or perhaps my pee on it, and other stuff that we know that are friendly for the life of the synthetic snakes that will go inside the jar. And of course, as I said, we'll have the 2 metal rods for the electrolysis, and it will be sealed, not 100% sealed, but it will be sealed with nylon. We know that some oxygen is required, but more importantly, we know that we need an outlet to release the gases, because along the process, many disgusting gases are created, and I can tell you that just by smell. At one point, pretty much, probably after a couple of hours, I will need to move this whole apparatus from my room to the balcony, because it's going to be very, very stinky. So it will stay in permanent display in the balcony, but I will, from time to time, I will check, on its whereabouts, and of course I'll take photographs and videos, and you will see how the new water snakes are, and of course the accompanied biome. The microscopic entities, the germs, and of course, microbes are developing. And of course, with time, we will release it. When we decide that they are ready, we will release it to the wild. So that's it. There is also an update with regards to the material studies, but maybe I will discuss this in another video. I wanted to speak about electrolysis, about ions, about ionizations. There are many issues regarding the physics of the neurons that we should discuss, but maybe let's do it in another video.